Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of What Ted Says. It's always time to get a fatter wallet and a bigger net worth. And today, we're talking about social media and how you can generate free leads right here on LinkedIn. So, how do I get some free leads on LinkedIn? What many people don't realize is that Google and Google Chrome is the only thing that will work in here. It will not work for you on Safari. It will not work for you on Firefox. I feel like a green eggs and ham commercial. But I will tell you this, that you have to have Google Chrome in order to be able to make this work. And in Google Chrome basically has something called extensions. There are many developers out there that devise programs that work in conjunction with other programs on the internet. And you've heard things like Honey for coupons or Grammarly for grammar errors. Well, I'm going to talk to you about two today, but one I want to show you specifically to generate free leads. So in the Google Chrome Web Store, Linked Helper is one that you can get that works in conjunction with LinkedIn, which is where we're going to get the free leads on LinkedIn. But the other one that I want to show you today is called Duck Soup. Now, I don't mean like a duck and soup. It's D-U-X. Soup. So it's Duck's Soup is where you're going to find it on the Google Chrome Web Store. So what we're going to do here is we're basically going to go to the store, and at the very top you're going to see something that says search the store. And simply in here you're going to type in DUX-SOUP. When you type that in, you're going to see the extension pop up. It says Duck Soup, and then you're going to simply click install. And what it's going to do is install Duck Soup in your toolbar. Now, I want to let you know in advance, in full and fair disclosure, Duck Soup has three levels. There's a free level, so certainly you can use this for free. There is a pro level, which costs $14.99 a month. That's the one that I use the most, and I'm going to show it to you today. Then there's a turbo level that costs $44.99 a month that does a whole bunch of fancy things that most of you probably will never use in your lifetime. So you're simply going to click install, and when you do that, it's going to install it, and then you're going to see a duck head in the upper toolbar, and that's where this process is going to begin. Now, the important thing to understand from here is that we're going to go into LinkedIn first before we use Duck Soup. This is part of the key in figuring out how to get high-quality leads. Now, you may not know this, but LinkedIn works on something called Boolean logic. This is really a search query. By the way, I did okay in logic in college. I don't know about you, but you don't really need to know that much about logic to actually be good at this because it works on a series of ands and ors. So if I wanted to search in financial services for everybody that's retired and also worked for GE, what I would type in the top of the search bar here is I would type in retired and GE, and then I would hit enter. And when I do that in LinkedIn, it's going to bring up everybody that was retired and also worked for General Electric. Now, without having premium on LinkedIn, I can search for more filters. So if I wanted everybody that was retired and worked for GE and also lives in the city of Boston, I could do that as well. But it's going to be important because once I go in and use Duck Soup, the tighter that my query is for searching, the better off it's going to be. So I can find people that either work for GE or they work for Home Depot if I wanted everybody that worked for those two companies. But I'm going to use a series of strings by using the words and or using the words or. And that's going to be really, really important that when you start this process. Now what will happen from here is that we're actually going to get into Duck Soup. Now in Duck Soup, what's going to happen is we're going to talk about two kinds of messaging. We're going to talk about first degree messaging, and then we're going to talk about second and third degree messaging. Now, when you click the gear button in the upper right-hand corner, this is going to start the process because it opens up the inner workings of Duck Soup. And once you click that gear button, you're going to see in the very first two parts of the upper half of the screen, you're going to be able to see a button that says first degree connections, and then a second one that says second and third degree connections. Let's talk about how we use both of them because we're in this to generate leads. Now, what's interesting is that most salespeople, they get a bunch of connections on LinkedIn. You probably have 500 plus connections. Some of you have 1,000 connections. Some of you may have 5,000 connections. But have you ever really prospected those first degree connections? Because having somebody who's a name and then really turning them into a lead is a difference when you're trying to be able to get leads that you can close in your business. Doesn't matter what kind of business you have. You could be selling signs, or you could be selling accounting services, or you could be selling cars. It's still about generating those leads. So inside of Duck Soup, what's going to happen in here is you're going to open up the tab that says First Degree Connections. And you do that by simply clicking the button, and it will move the nozzle from off to on. Now, I want you to notice that for first degree invitations that you have, or first degree connections, you're able to write a message of up to 3,000 characters. Now, what we've learned as sort of a time-proof tested model is that you really don't want your message to be more than 300 characters. And in fact, the shorter it is, the better it's going to be for your chance of success in getting results of turning those names into leads. In fact, can you think about how many times that you've gotten a LinkedIn connection and somebody said, I looked at your profile and it seemed really strong. I thought we might want to connect. Then the moment that you connected, not more than an hour later, you got this diatribe of a message about their business and what they do, and here's a link to their calendar. You would never sign up for an appointment for that, and neither would I. In the first degree connections, you can craft a message that would be about 300 characters. The key here is to actually do something called title writing. And you're going to want to do things that catch attention. I'm not talking about clickbait. I'm talking about a direct, to the point, factual message that could help somebody do better. So in my business that I have for financial services, I may say to somebody, do you want to know the 2 tax ideas, one expiring on September 23rd and one expiring on December 31st, that could help you save taxes before the end of 2020? Would you be up for a quick 15 to 20 minute Zoom meeting next week where I could tell you more about it? And that's basically a yes, no, maybe so type question, right? Either they do want to do it, or they don't want to do it, or they're not sure, or maybe they want more information. I could also craft something that has an ebook with it, or maybe a download if I didn't want to try to get a direct appointment to turn that name into a lead. I may say, hey, the new Porsche is out this year. Do you want to see the 3 features that make this more cost affordable and something that you might want to put in your driveway today? Click here to get the free download on the new Porsche that's coming out in the market in 2020. This would just be a different example. I don't sell cars, but about having a short, concise message and sending it to the first degree connections. Once that message is done, then what's going to happen is that you're going to run the software. And that simply happens by clicking the button Visit and Connect. And then what's going to happen is that LinkedIn will actually send that message from Duck Soup. I use the Pro version. It will do it up to 500 people a day. Now, the truth in lending is that inside of the Duck Soup platform, you can decide what your timer is going to look like. And the timer could basically send it to people every 5 seconds, or it could send it to people every 5 minutes. You're going to choose that. I would recommend using the automation that's in Duck Soup today, because it knows the cadence of how not to send it too slow, but not sending it too fast so you don't get put in LinkedIn jail, because it's possible you can. It hasn't happened to me, but in general, if you let the cadence go right, it should not happen to you. Now, the more important thing then gets into second and third degree connections. These are people that are in my network. It's not the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, but it's the 3 degrees of LinkedIn separation. And these are your second and third degree connections that you want to get in touch with, because you don't know them. By the way, you don't know most of your first degree connections, but it's somebody that you really want to get in touch with. So let's say my target market was business owners. I sell copiers. I sell phone systems. I sell office supplies. I sell health insurance. If I want to sell those services to business owners, I start with the Boolean logic process. Let me find all people that are CEOs or they're business owners. If I'm part of LinkedIn Sales Navigator, I could even narrow it down to how many people work in the company. But on a very basic free version, I could simply say, give me all business owners that are in the city of Denver. And that would be a great way to start. And it's going to give me some search button on here on LinkedIn about how many business owners that I have in Denver. And let's say the number is 50,000. I'm just making this up right now, but that may be the number. When you get in there, now you can do a second and third degree connection message. So now you're going to unclick the first degree message and you're going to click the second and third degree message. Note the difference in here is that now you only have 300 characters that you can use in order to be able to make this LinkedIn message. which means you really need to be tight with your copy. I don't think until you've written something that has 300 characters or 300 words about how tight that copy can be. So in here, you've got to be very concise and to the point and either ask for an appointment, offer a free ebook, or direct them to a landing page or a squeeze page that you might have to start the process. But if I'm asking for a meeting, and many people will take a quick meeting over Zoom or Cisco or one of those platforms, a GoToMeeting, it's very simple to do this. So I may write something on there, and again, I don't sell copiers, but I might say something like, would you like to see how we can save up to 4 cents on your color copies and up to 1 penny on your black and white copies, and we may even be able to reduce your monthly copier cost. Would you be up for a 15 to 20 minute Zoom meeting call next week to discuss further? This is a direct, to the point, no nonsense, which is what business owners like, but in fact, a lot of salespeople like it, that may be able to help you generate more business and more leads. I know it's worked for me because I have done this countless thousands of times and be able to get leads. If I was in the business of selling office supplies, I may be able to say, burning through K-cups, burning through sheets and reams of office paper, would you like to see how you could lower your cost and bring more dollars to your bottom line? Would you be up for a 15 to 20 minute Zoom meeting phone call next week or a Zoom meeting call to learn more about how to save money on your bottom line? These are just examples. Again, I don't sell these products. I know everything and anything about how I've done this in several key areas in financial services, but it translates to almost any business that's out there and gives you the ability to be able to get free leads. Now, you should just know at the end of the day that once you start running these cadences and you click this thing on here that's going to say visit and connect, and you click visit and connect, the computer will start running this. Heck, you could be out golfing, you could be out having lunch with a client, you could be at home doing nothing. The software will run automatically over and over again to a maximum of 500 times a day. So it can be very, very powerful. Now, you should know that if you're worried about hitting the same profile over and over again, there's a button that you can press and depress that's called a skipping feature, and it will skip people. You can put in certain keywords to make yourself not go to a certain segment of the marketplace or not go to your competitors if you're LinkedIn to some people that do the same job that you do, but it's very, very effective in order to be able to generate leads. So, can you use Duck Soup to create just more connections if that's all that you want to build? Absolutely. You can just do connections. But if you really want free leads on LinkedIn and you want to get them quickly and effectively over the next 30 days, use the first and second and third degree process that I just showed you, and you too will be able to create more leads on LinkedIn. And that's how you get a fatter wallet, and that's how you get a bigger net worth. This is What Ted Says, and as always, look, share this with your friends, subscribe to my channel. What Ted Says will help you make more money.